Imagine creating something in a small college dorm room, a digital spark ignited amidst late-night coding sessions and caffeine-fueled ambition. Now, fast forward just a few years, and that seemingly innocuous idea has blossomed into an omnipresent force, one that dictates how billions of people across the globe communicate, share their lives, and fundamentally interact online. This isn't merely the chronicle of Facebook. It is an epic saga of raw power, unyielding ambition, relentless controversy, and the relentless pursuit of connection that birthed one of the most influential digital empires in the entire history of technology. At the heart of this empire stands Mark Zuckerberg, an enigma forged in the hallowed halls of Harvard. He was a brilliant mind, undeniably, yet cloaked in a veil of social awkwardness that often set him apart. His gaze, however, held a singular burning intensity, fueled by an insatiable desire not just to connect people, but perhaps to orchestrate and control the very threads of that connection. He saw patterns where others saw chaos, and potential where others saw mere distraction. His initial foray into this digital realm was both audacious and deeply controversial. FaceMash. Born out of a late-night hack, it allowed Harvard students to rate the attractiveness of their peers, pitting their photos against each other. This crude, yet undeniably captivating experiment showcased Zuckerberg's nascent technical prowess and, more tellingly, a stark disregard for conventional notions of privacy. He bypassed security protocols, scraped student data, and ignited a firestorm of ethical debate, foreshadowing the larger battles to come. Yet, from the ashes of FaceMash's scandal, a grander vision began to crystallize. Inspired by the nascent ideas of online social networking, Zuckerberg retreated to his dorm room, his fingers flying across the keyboard, translating his vision into lines of code. He was building the Facebook, a platform designed to map the social fabric of the university, creating a digital directory where students could connect, share, and exist within a curated online space. Early collaborators soon emerged, drawn by the magnetic pull of his ambition. Eduardo Saverin, a close friend, provided crucial early funding and business acumen. The Winklevoss twins and Divya Narendra, meanwhile, had their own social networking idea, Harvard Connection, and approached Zuckerberg to help them code it. These early partnerships, however, were tinged with an underlying tension. The seeds of betrayal and intellectual property disputes already germinating beneath the surface of shared ambition. As the Facebook rapidly expanded beyond Harvard's ivy-covered walls, its growth was nothing short of exponential. The move to Palo Alto, California, marked a seismic shift, transforming a college project into a burgeoning startup. The pressure on Zuckerberg intensified, demanding he not only manage his burgeoning creation, but also find ways to monetize its rapidly expanding user base. Then came the first profound betrayal, a dramatic falling out that would forever alter the company's trajectory. Eduardo Saverin, once a trusted partner, found himself systematically sidelined and ultimately ousted from the company. Financial disagreements, coupled with Zuckerberg's ruthless ambition and a strategic maneuvering of corporate shares, led to Saverin's dramatic exit, culminating in a bitter legal battle that laid bare the cutthroat world of Silicon Valley. The accusations were stark, the stakes incredibly high. The legal battles intensified, a maelstrom of lawsuits swirling around Zuckerberg. Accusations of intellectual property theft from the Winklevoss twins and Divya Narendra, combined with the betrayal of Saverin, cast a long shadow. His future, and indeed the very fate of Facebook, hung precariously in the balance, a colossal gamble poised on the precipice of an uncertain outcome. Before we continue, subscribe to the channel and tell us in the comments where you are watching from. The legal maelstrom, though fiercely fought, ultimately saw Mark Zuckerberg emerge victorious, albeit with a reputation indelibly marked by the accusations of betrayal and intellectual theft. He had navigated the tempestuous waters of litigation, consolidating his power and proving an uncanny ability to withstand adversity. The settlements, while costly, were a small price for retaining absolute control over his digital kingdom. This period forged him into a more formidable, and arguably more ruthless, leader, hardening his resolve to protect his vision at all costs. The whispers of his past misdeeds, however, would forever trail him, a constant reminder of the ethical compromises made on the path to unparalleled success. His strategic foresight, bordering on prescience, became evident in the ensuing years through a series of billion-dollar decisions that reshaped the digital landscape. The acquisitions of Instagram in 2012 and WhatsApp in 2014 were not merely expansions. They were bold, sometimes ruthless, moves designed to eliminate burgeoning competition and solidify Facebook's digital footprint. Instagram, with its vibrant photo-sharing community, was rapidly gaining traction, posing a direct threat to Facebook's visual dominance. WhatsApp, a messaging behemoth, represented a crucial gateway to global communication, a territory Zuckerberg was determined to conquer. These were not just purchases, they were strategic annexations, ensuring that any significant challenger to his empire would either be absorbed or crushed. Zuckerberg's transformation from a socially awkward college hacker to a global tech CEO was complete. He stood at the helm of an unprecedented technological power, facing immense scrutiny and pressure from investors, governments, and billions of users. His public appearances became more polished, his statements more measured, yet the underlying intensity remained. He was no longer just building a platform, he was steering a global phenomenon, one that intertwined itself with the daily lives of a third of humanity. However, with this immense power came a growing shadow: the data dilemma. The relentless pursuit of growth and user engagement often came at the expense of privacy. Facebook's business model, built on targeted advertising, necessitated the collection and analysis of vast amounts of personal data. This led to an escalating series of privacy concerns and data breaches, each revealing the precarious balance between connectivity and individual autonomy. The Cambridge Analytica scandal, in particular, exposed how user data could be exploited for political manipulation, igniting a global outcry and forcing a reckoning with the ethical implications of Facebook's pervasive reach. The platform's impact on global politics became increasingly undeniable. Accusations of election interference, particularly during the 2016 U.S. presidential election and the widespread dissemination of misinformation, created a central conflict between Facebook's stated mission of connecting the world and its undeniable role in fragmenting it. The company, designed to bring people together, was now seen by many as a powerful engine for division, a breeding ground for conspiracy theories and societal polarization. This created an existential crisis, challenging the very foundation of Zuckerberg's empire. Then came the whistleblowers. Individuals with intimate knowledge of Facebook's internal workings began to step forward, armed with damning internal documents. These revelations exposed a troubling truth. The company was acutely aware of the harmful content proliferating on its platforms, from hate speech to content detrimental to mental health, yet often prioritized profit and user engagement over user safety. The testimony of Frances Haugen, among others, painted a stark picture of a company struggling with its conscience, or perhaps lacking one entirely. Public trust in Facebook began to erode at an alarming rate. Controversies mounted, each new scandal chipping away at the company's credibility. Regulatory pressure intensified across the globe, with governments demanding greater accountability, transparency, and control over the tech giant's operations. The cries for regulation grew louder, threatening the very autonomy Zuckerberg had so fiercely protected. Internally, a palpable tension simmered. employees grappled with the ethical implications of their work, questioning the company's direction and the moral cost of its relentless growth. Mark Zuckerberg, once the untouchable visionary, now stood at a critical crossroads, facing unprecedented public and governmental scrutiny. The future of his digital empire, once seemingly unshakable, now hung in profound uncertainty as calls for regulation and accountability grew louder and more insistent than ever before. In response to this escalating crisis of trust and an undeniable shift in the digital landscape, Zuckerberg initiated his most ambitious and controversial gamble yet: the rebranding of Facebook to Meta and a headlong pivot towards the metaverse. This wasn't merely a cosmetic change. It represented a profound strategic redirection, a desperate attempt to redefine the company's future and escape the gravitational pull of its past controversies. It was a bold declaration that the era of social media, as they knew it, was yielding to something far more immersive and potentially more profitable. The grand vision behind the metaverse was nothing short of breathtaking: a persistent, interconnected set of virtual spaces where users could work, play, learn, and socialize in ways previously confined to science fiction. Zuckerberg painted a picture of a future where physical distance would become irrelevant, where digital avatars would seamlessly interact in hyper-realistic environments. Yet this futuristic dream was met with widespread public skepticism. The immense financial investment required, billions poured into research and development, raised serious questions about its feasibility and the sheer scale of the undertaking. Critics wondered if the world was truly ready for such a radical shift, or if Meta was simply chasing a phantom, a costly distraction from its mounting real-world problems. Leading such a vast and controversial empire exacted a profound personal toll on Mark Zuckerberg. Behind the stoic public persona, there were undoubtedly moments of immense pressure, isolation, and the weight of billions of eyes scrutinizing his every move. His resilience, however, remained unwavering, fueled by an almost obsessive focus on his vision, a relentless drive that had characterized him since his Harvard dorm room days. He seemed to possess an almost superhuman capacity to absorb criticism and recalibrate, always moving forward, always pushing the boundaries of what was technologically possible. Amidst this metaverse pivot, Meta also embarked on a concerted, if often questioned, effort to address past criticisms. New privacy initiatives were announced, content moderation efforts were ostensibly ramped up, and responsible AI development became a stated priority. This was presented as a redemption arc, a strategic reinvention aimed at rebuilding trust and demonstrating a commitment to ethical technology. Whether these efforts were genuine attempts at corporate responsibility or simply sophisticated public relations maneuvers remained a subject of intense debate. But the company was undeniably attempting to project a more conscientious image. Yet, the struggle was continuous, fought on an unseen battlefield. Emerging competitors constantly vied for user attention, evolving user demands pushed the boundaries of innovation, and the ever-present threat of regulatory intervention loomed large, a sword of Damocles hanging over Meta's sprawling operations. The digital world was a shark tank, and even the biggest fish had to keep swimming, adapting, and fighting to maintain its dominance. Contemplation of Zuckerberg's ultimate legacy remains deeply complex, a narrative in flux. Was he a visionary who connected the world in unprecedented ways, or a controversial figure whose relentless pursuit of growth came at the cost of privacy and societal well-being? Was he a master controller, orchestrating the digital lives of billions, or merely a facilitator, providing the tools for global communication? The answer, perhaps, lies in the eyes of the beholder, and will likely evolve as the long-term implications of his creations continue to unfold. The future of connection itself now hinges, in part, on Meta's metaverse ambitions. How will these immersive virtual worlds reshape human interaction, redefine society, and blur the very lines of reality. The questions are profound, and the answers are only just beginning to emerge. Mark Zuckerberg didn't just build a company. He built a digital empire that fundamentally changed human communication forever. From a Harvard dorm room to one of the most powerful tech companies on Earth, the story of Facebook, and now Meta, proves that one idea, coupled with relentless ambition and an unwavering vision, can indeed change the world. The enduring power and undeniable influence of Mark Zuckerberg and Meta continue to shape our digital existence, leaving us all to ponder the true cost and the ultimate value of connecting the world.